Hello everyone, welcome back. It is game number 2, Ukraine down 0-1 against Keen Gaming. Not what they were hoping for, particularly not what they're hoping for in that fashion. God's ring his cap, and I don't know, do you think Ukraine, with how they looked? I mean, they have a shot, they always have a shot, but
They do have a shot.
like,
I'm
faithful.
distracted right now. I'm too busy thinking about my next career move here, David.
What's that?
Well, becoming a professional mafia analyst, of course.
Oh yeah, just announced. Dota fans out there, MafiaCon. It was advertised to the Smash guys at the Ultimate Summit, but Dota is where the Mafia at BTS began.
Yes.
But yeah, we're doing a 100-person open to public Mafia event here at the new office. So if you guys tuning in are in LA and think you can play some Mafia,
All you shitters in Twitch chat who are like, oh, it's so obvious which one's the real Come on, man. You time to step it up. Time to prove that nobody that you're watching on Twitch, because I've seen the community, I've seen Twitch chat flame every single one of the communities that has played Mafia.
Yeah.
Everybody always thinks it's so easy to tell who's lying and all that sort of thing. And if you think that, well, I guess it's time to prove you're some sort of Mafia god.
oh man, that's true. I look forward to that. I hope we can get some streams of. There's gonna be like 100 people, a bunch of games going at once. Tickets are available, so
I'm really interested to see like how, because every single time I've played Mafia with like some strangers in the pool, it feels like the first game isn't really the real game. You know, because
you gotta
it's
get to
like,
know them a
yeah,
bit
you
first.
don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
anything about that person. You don't have any ideas of like tells, even if, you know, I don't believe that much in tells, but people like to think this is like Hollywood and this is poker, and you see somebody's eyebrow twitching and you know they're lying.
Yeah, and it's something you'll use like when you feel really strongly that someone's Mafia. You may like claim they have.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a bullshit thing than anything. Because people could be just as stressed being town,
Yeah.
and trying to clear their name.
No.
But back to Dota.
Back to Dota. We've got game 2, King Gaming, Team Ukraine. I don't imagine we'll see same kind of strategy game plan from Ukraine. They're gonna hopefully play a bit more high tempo. And
So I named my top 3 supports last night.
players.
No,
heroes?
heroes right now.
Okay.
For me, it is Chen, Furion, who is not banned or picked, and then Oracle. I feel like those 3 are all kind of overpowered in their own way. I am actually a big Oracle fan right now. There's another one, but shit, who was
A fourth support.
Yeah, there's like a fourth support that I just said I didn't really see. It was being picked up. Shadow Demon. That's it. Shadow Demon was being like first banned or picked in a very high priority by like very certain teams, very specific teams, and I don't know if that hero's any good. But
So you feel like some
I'm
of
just
these
ignorant.
like shamans and coddles are a bit overrated then if they're not in that list? Or?
I think those are. I think Shaman is like 4th.
Okay.
In my list. Coddle, I think, is almost like he's almost B tier. I think he's a situational hero, and I'm not sure if the situation warrants it in this game anyway for King Gaming. We'll see. You do need catch when you have Razor, so I can see the synergy there. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of like if it's really good against Lashrak and Oracle.
Okay.
But
So a kind of fun coddle Dark Willow from Keen Gaming. We have the Terrorize to go with the Will-O-Wisp. That was kind of interesting and fun.
I like that. Everyone thought that Keeper of the Light Mars was going to be the duo. But then it turns out Blinding Light actually pushes you out of the wall, out of the ultimate that Mars throws down. Everyone was thinking it was just going to blast into the wall and then you were going to get hit by the spears, but
I feel like that normally is how Dota mechanics would work, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I guess exceptions. Which is also how Dota mechanics always work.
Yeah.
But here we go. We'll see what comes out next. So Color Razor, they're going to stick with the Razor as the first overall pick of the draft. I guess just, knowing they can send it mid or side lanes, but there's not really any terrible Razor mid matchups. And a hero that they just feel good about.
Especially with Juggernaut, Lifestealer. I'm not sure if I would put PA in that list, but I feel like there's a lot of cores that are popular right now. Maybe Ursa, you could kind of include, that kind of can go both ways, but there's just so many heroes that Razor's good against right now.
I noticed Team Ukraine not wearing their Ukraine shirts.
Oh, really?
Maybe they didn't get laundry done or didn't bring enough of them. That's poor planning on their part.
What will their sponsors think?
What, the country of Ukraine that did not provide those shirts? Pretty sure
Given what I'm really reading on world news lately, I feel like Ukraine may have other problems they're thinking about right now. Nyx Assassin versus Razor is a little fun one. Any sort of hero that has, if any hero that builds Radiance or like Razor that has some sort of uncontrollable AoE damage that just is kind of always there. Free Spike Carapace stuns into Vendetta Impale hits.
Yep. And there's Illuminate as well. I mean, Nyx was always considered a cuddle counter as well.
True, yeah.
Theoretically good Shaman. The thing I just don't like about the Nyx, and I saw this I think in one other game, is when it's your main initiation. If the other team is on top of their sentries detection and have these observer sentry traps around the map, it's a very unreliable initiator. And oftentimes you'll just see Nyx trying to run in, he'll get Hex. Shaman in that sense can be very good against the Nyx. If you see him before he sees, if you see each other at the same time, you're going to get insta-hexed and then you're not initiating on anyone. So I don't feel like Nyx alone is enough kind of initiation or pick-off.
OD, so we've got two different saving mechanisms. This is a fairly common duo, Oracle and OD. They both protect each other. And they will both be able to have an answer to Shadow Shaman and Pugna and their single target disables and damage. I don't know if I like Ukraine's lineup.
I mean, every pick that comes out, the Nyx looks better and better in some ways, though.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
But at the same time, I think I've seen this general Leshrac 3 position, and Lesh Nyx, I want to say, has been done by a few teams. Even I think EG did that with S4 and Crit. Mm-hmm. And it's a very strong dual lane. You land one stun, and you just set up for these easy kills with the chain stun. And these 4 heroes are pretty squishy.
Which do you think Ukraine's happier with? You think they're happier that Pugna was picked because they have Nyx Assassin, or do you think that they would have been happier seeing Pugna not picked?
Probably not picked, I would think. I think there's just your Nyx is likely a 4 here. I think there's only you can't counter every hero in a team fight at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pressure on this Nyx to do a lot in these fights, but it's still doable.
I would agree with you, especially since Pugna is not just the counter to OD, but Leshrac as well. It's not like a super big counter, because Pulse Nova actually does not cost you that much mana per tick. So if you put it halfway through the fight or something, after Leshrac's already expended his spells, then it actually doesn't do anything to him. But it can be good.
Neither team had a good frontliner. They had 3 very squishy heroes, and Razor, who's, unless you itemize to tank up, is pretty squishy as well. So I like this pick for them. And it allows them to play very aggressive. That's a hero that was also a counter to Nyx Assassin in the past, and just great at hunting him down. This is, to me, a hero that fits that draft very well.
I like the Tide Band from Keen. The way this is set up, it makes it look like it should be a safe lane hero. I'm not sure how many safe lane frontlining initiating heroes are out there. Like Ursa is the obvious one.
Yeah, in the past, sometimes you saw like a Wraith King type hero, but that's like a pretty dead, forgotten pick now.
Yeah.
Anti-mage, they're going back for greed. Their draft looks pretty questionable.
Holy crap, dude. Dude, this is so greedy again.
Yeah.
Night Stalker Silence is very good versus AM. They do have some catch for the AM as well in Shadow Shaman and Coddle. It's nice to be able to have AoE stuns against him because of the anti-magic shield or whatever that's called.
Yep.
That he does, the reflection. And then we've already talked about how these Shadow Shamans are getting Aether Lens and their initiation range is getting insanely high.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to reliably get Spell Shield off against Shaman Hex. They do have the OD Astral Save, but I normally see Iceberg go this very greedy OD build as well. He doesn't go like the Mobility Blink 4 stuff. He played it yesterday and went straight into Kaya and Yasha, and then BKB. He had no Blink, no 4 stuff, no utility, just pure right-click build. And I don't think that kind of build works in a game like this. Maybe he'll mix it up. But interesting drafts coming out. I feel like King Gaming, again, they're going to be the tempo setters. This is where they're most comfortable.
I do think Night Stalker's a bad hero.
All right.
Like, I just keep watching it, and, you know, I've tried to play it myself and stuff, and, like, I'll watch pubs where there's, you know, like a pro offlane player is trying to play Night Stalker, and it always just doesn't quite work. You know, I feel like right now the ratio is like 25% of games, Night Stalker looks good, and he's super dominant, and he actually is scaling into the late game and cool. But the other 75% of games, he just looks like a lackluster initiator. And that's the only reason. Like, I would be super heavily in King Gaming's camp for this game if it wasn't for the fact that I just feel bad about this hero.
Well, Night Stalker needs to step it up. Pump it up with some nice beats to get us in the game, and it is going to be Ukraine with their back against the wall, playing against the Night Stalker, though, who you have some doubts about. And I think, for me, draft-wise as a whole, I like King Gaming's draft, but I kind of share some of that sentiment where, you know, Night Stalker has been a pretty unproven, lackluster hero in most senses of the word, so we'll see if that remains the case. At the same time, I have not seen much successful anti-mage lately.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of is a good AM game, like, yeah, Pugna, Coddle, Shaman, but at the same time, I'd say, like, Razor, Night Stalker less so. And they have the lockdown to catch him with the Shaman. Yeah, anti-mage theoretically good against Shaman. You blink on him with your spell shield, you're going to have a good time, but you can at least catch and kill the anti-mage if he's being greedy split pushing.
Kaka going back for a sentry. Don't think any wards have been placed out yet, so
yeah,
maybe he just forgot or something.
Not sure if he saw anything. Maybe he just wants it for the pool camp, expecting a block to happen up in this top lane of some kind, but we'll see what is going to be the case. There is 3 heroes from Ukraine up here. We saw this last game where they try lane to get a bounty rune, and then they're more than happy to TP Sioma the Slayer normally to one of the other lanes to secure the wipe. So, looking for a kill up top is Ukraine. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they're just trying to get the anti-mage the hell out of there. As King Gaming get 2 bounty runes, and it will be theoretically 2 bounty runes going the way of Ukraine. They haven't picked up the other one just yet. They're hoping for a kill here, it looks like, before they fall back. Oh, trying to get that range creep. They'll get the range creep behind the tower. What's the idea behind this? Just early on, going behind the tower and just securing that last hit?
I mean, range creeps are pretty important, so it guarantees it. This usually does cause the creep wave to push into the tower right away, and typically that means that it will then bounce off, and the lanes will start pushing to your favor. Maybe that's a thing. Like, I do that all the time with Doom because of Devour. Because it, just cuts down like an extra 10 seconds on my second Devour timing. And it does push out it ends up bouncing off the tower and pushing out the lane for me. But here it's kind of curious.
Well, they grab the next creep wave with the Coddle, and they're just looking to, force the AM to last it under tower. But he does have the Quelling Blade, so he shouldn't have too many issues with that. But, if he's farming under tower, you suddenly have that ability to, go in, nuke him, and just cause him to take extra damage and have a bit more pressure on top of him, which is kind of what Dark's doing here. He's just going to right-click him as he tries to farm under the tower without getting too close. Back at top, Kaka's hoping to pull this range creep away, but doesn't quite draw the aggro with the pull camp. Those oh so valuable range creeps. Do you like that change to the range creeps, making them worth even more?
I think a lot of what IceFrog has been doing recently feels like he's trying to force fights to happen. And I feel like some of it is like just artificial. It's not a very natural way to force fights. A great example is the bounty runes. The introduction of bounty runes and saying every 5 minutes there's this important objective for you to go fight over it. I feel like that's an artificial way to force fights to happen. And I kind of feel the same way about range creeps, Oh, look, this range creep thing is really important. Fight over who gets the last hit on it,
Yeah, so like in a mid 1v1, you have these two creep waves meeting. You're not going to just equally commit yourself to each creep. You're going hard for that range creep.
Yeah, and it just becomes this point of focus. I do like the active component. I do like, Dota that is filled with a lot of fighting. I'm just not convinced it's the most elegant way.
Okay.
That's a very
That makes sense. I think that's a good kind of, at least maybe some insight into what I totally agree with at least the bounty runes, and I think the same is kind of applying to these range creeps where that is kind of at least somewhat the idea behind it.
And I guess the thing is that I say that, and I say oh, it's not very inelegant, but I have I like what happens as a result. I like the fighting aspect. I like the more active Dota is. I think the better it is. I think that's why it stands out so much to League of Legends, right? League of Legends such a slow, low kill game. In most of the metas that League of Legends is
yeah.
So I love that Dota is so fun and active in that regard. So I like what it does for the game. And I say oh, it's in an elegant way to make things happen, but I can't offer you a better alternative, So.
And that's the thing. MOBAs for a while were the hot popular genre, and everyone was trying to, put their own kind of twist and flair on it. You had ones like HOTS, which basically removed creeps, shed all the XP, and they went full in the direction, doubled down on the IceFrog direction, which is force fights non-stop and create all these objectives to fight around. And there's no creeps, there's no farming, there's no splitting XP. Everyone gets everything. So there's obviously this sliding scale where you need to find the sweet spot, and everyone's going to have a different idea of where that maybe is.
Yeah.
So.
Holy crap. CCNC is now playing Tabletop Simulator. I don't think I've ever seen CCNC play anything other than Dota on Steam.
Damn.
Is
he streaming?
He must
what's
be.
Going on?
I feel like that's the only reason he'd be doing something like that.
Maybe Dota's down. I don't know. I guess we're in Dota, but there's pack loss, so who knows? What's his stream? /CCNC?
I think it's CCNC Dota. Maybe Dota 2. I'm not sure.
We'll get there. CCNC Dota 2. Not streaming. He's just playing Tabletop Simulator in his spare time. Maybe it's like some team bonding experience.
He's playing Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh man, he was hyped for he replied to the Mafia Con. He said he's
I bet he
out.
is.
Yeah.
Quinn always wants to play more Mafia.
See if he bought his ticket.
I wonder The other big fiend in the Dota 2 universe, community, whatever, who's a big fiend for Mafia is Charlie, obviously. He was a big reason the first Charlie, the first Mafia hub happened. I'm not sure if he's going to play in something like that. Because Charlie's such a snob, you know? Like, I could see him be like, oh, I don't want to play with the plebs, you know? Like, these...
I mean, what better chance to prove you're good at Mafia than
yeah, exactly.
Playing with people you don't know as well, who you think are way worse than you, so it should be easy, right?
I'll definitely go. I'll definitely go for sure. It sounds fun.
It'll be cool. I think 100 people will be kind of small, but then maybe times afterwards we scale it up. See how big Mafia Con can be. There's all kinds of cons nowadays, anime cons, TV show cons, whatever it may be. So we're just following the trend. I was going to say we're going to be Mafia pioneers, but the fact that we're doing a con is not anything new or unique in itself. But a bit of some lag and spike, whatever issues they are. Not sure.
Is it going to be happening like here in the studio? Is that you're going to fit 100 people into that studio space? Is that what it's going to be?
I believe so.
Nice.
That's a Ken Chen question.
Is that why you guys have got this fancy new studio? Dude,
yeah,
the studio space is huge.
Yeah, we got this just so we could run a Mafia event.
Nice.
Forget doing everything else. We looked at
yeah, you guys just sold it. I think it was $5 per ticket or something like that, right?
Don't know.
100 people? That's $500 right there.
Boom, that's a cash cow. Not too sure that's a sound business model right there. No. It should be a lot of fun. And probably a lot of people in the Twitch chat who don't live in or around LA and don't know what the hell Mafia is, who don't know what we're even talking about.
Well, fortunately for them, it looks like we may be starting up again soon.
Calm players almost always make better decisions, according to my tooltip.
Not sure if that's entirely true. You ever seen a game where like a team should go for the aggressive play and they just like slowly farm their way to a loss?
Yeah.
I
think it was trying to basically say like tilted players do not make good decisions, which I would say is true, but they'll try to just say the opposite as a fact, which I would say is not necessarily the case. You need to have some confidence and bravado when you're playing Dota.
Sometimes you gotta act with urgency, man.
Yep. And that's what we saw King Gaming do. I wouldn't say they were particularly playing in a calm way last game, and if they had played too calm, things would have gone poorly for them.
I guarantee you that Bob Ross would not have been a good Dota player.
Yeah, I can see that.
He would not have been able to call his teammates to action to make them make the plays that need to be made.
We're back underway here, 4 minutes in. A lot of action happening in these side lanes. Hits being exchanged. It's top lane, almost bottom lane with the first blood. Someone got very low. Instead, it's a Aloha dance going down. Kaka's Shaman getting the last hit on that one. That was the Nyx Assassin, I believe just going for some pulls behind the tower. It looked like he was in pretty deep with this Boots First build of his. And bottom lane, Dark gets a kill. So King Gaming getting kills in both of these side lanes.
And that's before the 5-minute Night Stalker time, too. So, who got the kill? Dark did, so.
Yeah, both supports have kills.
Old 11 is going to have his phase boots in time for the nighttime, which I think is pretty important.
Yep. And mid lane, Pugna gets a DD rune, so that's going to get him a bit of a edge for at least the next wave or two. Should be able to secure him a decent number of denies. Maybe some pressure on this tier 1 tower. As Iceberg is going to be put on the back foot. He has been doing fine so far up until that point, but we'll see if this maybe evens up this mid lane a little bit. 5-minute bounty rune's coming into play. Razor wants to go for it. Actually, missing the chain stun is general. That may have been a kill if he hit that split earth. Instead, checking to be forced back. Grabs the bounty rune. Has got a shrine here. Is he going to pop it? Pops the magic wand here. They may be able to kill Kaka with the hex there. Kaka doesn't get the full shrine regen, but does get back to safety. I think a bit too keen there on the Razor going for that bounty rune, but he gets out of there.
Fortunately, Night Stalker, they got a kill on bottom lane. That's because the Coddle, even though the Anti-Mage keeps on burning all of the Night Stalker's mana, the Coddle is able to give him some extra mana to work with.
Yep.
Looks like top lane, they're going to try and run down the last track and not going to be able to get the kill, but will drain him of a lot of damage.
Okay. kill Lesh here? Lesh's boots, okay. Should be fine. Razor's stolen 35 damage, so can get some pretty big right clicks in up top with a plasma field.
I wonder if he's thinking about it. Like, if he's thinking 3 seconds until plasma field.
Yeah.
That'll apply a slow. I think if he gets, like, 2 hits, it might be a kill. 2 right clicks?
Lesh does have 5 armor. I didn't realize Lesh's armor was that high.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
But I think it's worth doing it because you've got enough mana pool to play around with. It's worth getting him nice and low, force him back to... Shrine's already been popped, so you're going to force him back to base. Perhaps I mean, maybe you just go for the right clicks and no plasma field, but it'll be close either way. Leshrac and Razor, almost identical movement speed. I feel like the camera should be showing that, man. There's a kill happening top. Potential. But yeah, as you mentioned, Nightstalker having a good time down bottom, but AM also is somewhat free farming. I feel like this can often happen in these AM games where you have an okay enough lane, but then your team's game plan as a whole just moves very slowly.
Yeah.
Right. Looks like we are going to be unpausing in just a second here, and we'll see if Mr. Cameraman goes back to the top lane. So that is where the action is about to unfold. That Leshrac. You've had an entire pause, Mr. Observer, to witness how close this Lesh was to dying, and you fuck it up. I'm disappointed. That is...
It's not good, man.
Not good, yeah.
Not good.
The observing's been decent. Like, I wouldn't say, it's not like JJ Pimpmuckle good, but, you know, it's been alright from what I've seen. But that was poor.
4-0. Clean sweep so far for Keen.
No huge gold lead off of it, though, I guess. Like, these early game kills sometimes don't translate. If you're not actually you're not really contesting the lanes necessarily, even though you're getting kills maybe. I would say top lane Lesh has only got 16 CS, so that's going pretty well.
I wonder what their plan is for the AM. Because I don't think besides the Night Stalker, I don't think their plan actually is going to be directly assaulting the AM so much as like just killing towers and playing aggressive on everybody else.
That's kind of where I figure it's similar to last game, where you ignore the fact there's an AM, you go push bottom, take over that side of the map. AM's going to just leave the lane. You don't care if you don't kill him. You know he's going to farm. He's probably going to get a Battle Fury at maybe 16, 17 minutes, but that's not a bad thing. That's not like a losing condition for Keen Gaming. But hey, if you rotate, when they rotate in, maybe they will get a kill here if he's not playing cautious enough. With the Night Stalker's silence, there is some kill potential here, and they get the Hex to start things off with a Nether Blast, and he does manage to blink himself back in the trees, but they actually catch vision of him now, and with the Quelling Blade in, they actually do end up getting the kill. So they're going to get the tower with the kill here if they can keep this Siege Creep alive. 5-0 now with AM dying. That is bad news for Team Ukraine. Who, well, unfortunately...
And the tower's definitely going to fall. This push coming in with the Siege Wagon and with the Pugna as well. And again, it's going to be like, what is Ukraine capable of doing when your towers are being pushed like this and you start losing map control? You've got an OD mid.
And it's the same as last game where the offlaner as well is also not a big playmaker.
Yeah.
It's a Leshrac.
You're asking so much from your supports.
Yep.
By doing this.
They need to get this Nyx's... I mean, they won't get Nyx 6 until 10 minutes with the Tome, I imagine. But that's where they have some playmaking potential, which is probably what we'll see them do. We unpause and they get that tower with ease. Still several minutes of nighttime left, and that's going to be a little bit scary for Team Ukraine, who are underleveled on their supports, just trying to farm passively on their cores. There's not really a whole lot they can do on the map right now.
Night Stalker get the last hit on the tower? He did not, and he's top net worth. That is surprising. He got the kill on the AM, but...
I gave it to Pugna, who's kind of struggling a bit mid.
I will say that for Night Stalkers, that his stats are strong enough that you can get really good CS without during the first 5 minutes of daytime.
Yeah, yeah, you don't really feel like you're at a disadvantage with it being day in the laning stage. That 10 to 15 minute stage is where you feel suddenly a little bit weaker. Nice Carapace mid. They're going to get the Astral to follow it up. They're going to kill off the Pugna ward. Can they get this kill? There's a rotation from Keen. I don't believe, they've got the kill on the Pugna. AM rotates in, doesn't have mana for the Mana Void. Gets it just afterwards, or he may be able to get They pick off their sentry. What is planted? They see Iceberg. They get in with the Hex. The Night Stalker going to pop the ultimate, go flying on in. The Mana Boy just to cancel the shackles here, but 11, he's chasing, but he gets out of the sentry range. They're going to have to change targets to Slayer, but not wanting to take tower shots is 11, so they do not go for the kill. Decent sequence of events for Team Ukraine, as perhaps not done. Kaka is underneath the tier 1 tower here.
What the hell was Kaka doing there?
Was he I mean, he was de-warding initially, right? But I don't know why he was in those trees. It works out, you know, Cap. I don't know what he was doing either, but...
Kaka's a genius.
Yeah.
Some real 4D chess plays happening there.
Yeah, a bit of a hectic, chaotic game so far, and also a bit of a fragmented one, as we'll hit another pause here. It kind of disrupts the flow of the game when you have these pauses every 90 seconds or so.
Yeah, you know, when you're watching Chinese games, you're going to get a lot of the server lag. Yep. People make the joke about PowerPoint. You know, load up the next slide, please. This is like GIF Dota. You know? You're getting it in like manageable 30-second chunks.
Yep. And then you got to wait for the next.
Yeah.
Which I'll take this over the PowerPoint Dota.
That's true.
But both, it's hard for players. It's also hard to cast these games. Where it's just like, oh, here we go, got another break, and then it continues, and you just kind of lose track of where things are with the state of the game a bit. It feels like you could be 15 minutes in, but you're only 9 minutes in because of how long the...
You're like, is this the first nighttime still?
Yeah.
We've been here for ages.
Oh. But here we go. We're back underway. Load up the next GIF. As they want to pressure more towers here. I think recognizing that that's what their lineup does well. Better than last game, so they can take these early towers to really put the AM on the back foot a bit. And one more Nether Blast. Should be able to finish this one off, although Pugna is out of mana, may need a Chakra to help him out, which Dark will have in a couple of seconds, so we'll see them go for this tower now. Not much you can do to deny it against the Pugna Blast. Actually mistimes it, but instead Razor gets the last hit, which is totally fine.
Look at old 11. Like, the TPs are going to come in, he's going to back up, but, like, just doing that. Because there are no cores that threaten him. Because all the cores are greedy lane farmers who need to be able to get a lot of items before they're a thing. So, is that did that sound go through?
I think so.
Alright.
You're good though. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of one of the biggest bosses on the map right now. I feel like Razor's in a similar situation where it's like no one's really afraid of too much outside of like the Nyx when he's 6. I guess with the Oracle purge to initiate, that wasn't a very strong route, and even Kaka just gets away from a 3-man gank as a shaman. Not a hero known for survivability.
Keen Gaming can just play so fearless when they're faced up against a lineup like this. Like, you take towers whenever you want. Yep. Dive supports if you want. Dive a tier 2. Like, how are you going to get punished? Until Nyx Assassin gets level 6, even then that's a little questionable. You really need Rod of Atos for the Leshrac to make him a playmaker. Like, I think that item will change how you play the game, but...
Oh, they see the anti-mage. We'll get him. They get the Hex off to start things off. Old 11 comes in, pops the Nighttime to get the silence out, and they kill AM. That's the, you know, I would say kind of the only win condition right now for Ukraine is just AM getting farmed and
for sure
carrying the game. I mean, not that he's going to be like 1v5, but it is very much a 4 protect 1 kind of game plan, which is where Iceberg is going for the 4 stuff on OD, so he's going more for that utility OD, which is I think what his team needs, but they're all in on the AM. Well, maybe we'll hop over my game feed if this
I'll
quality
try and
is
get some better quality.
the best. Here we go, guys. There was a defense on the high ground here. Pugna initially goes down, and they're chasing for more, so Ukraine's mounted a decent defense. Kaka being chased in the trees, doesn't really have any kind of escape. Has 1 charges, though, so he's actually juking this anti-mage until he gets blinked on once more, and he's not even going to pop the 1 charges, I think, knowing that his life is all but forfeit, so he holds on to them. They're not done yet. Nightstalker does not get hit by that Impale, so 11 with the Phase Boots, maybe able to outrun this one. Sandy's Eclipse doesn't finish him off, but the Purifying Flames will. And they manage to end up getting the kill there, so.
Alright, hopefully this is a little better.
Let's see. Try to go back so I don't have to put with my observing guys, which I don't have any of the right settings for.
Face drums for the Night Stalker. Yule's up soon for Old Chicken. That feels like really good when you complete the Yules on Razor. It gives you so much extra catch. Like, you don't have a stun yourself naturally. So people can't TP away from you. It obviously means you get like full static link a lot of the times against heroes. Increase your movement speed. There's just a lot of little things about Yules that is a big power spike for you. And then Aetherland's almost complete for the Pugna as well, which they are headed off to smoke, but they're going to receive a nasty little surprise, which is that the Nyx Assassin was sitting right there, ruining their smoke, and they didn't even get a kill off of it.
Yep, that's sometimes something that Nyxes do best in these situations of the game. And what he needs to keep doing is just, creating some space and room for AM to keep farming. It is an even game, more or less, on gold right now. OD topping net worth, AM not too far behind, so things are still in an okay position for Ukraine as far as this game 2 goes. The issue is going to be this second nighttime, I feel, is where we're going to see a big increase in tempo from King Gaming, and part of why it got back to even was just a little bit over-aggression down bottom. They were going for a tier 3 tower at like 10 minutes in the game, which is just way too aggressive.
Atos time. It's really big.
Yep. And now they've got this better initiation, more reliable. They catch out the Razor. Great kind of reveal coming in from that Rod of Atos, although there is punish coming on the way in the form of the Night Stalker. They want to kill off this Leshrac. The Night Stalker's trying to chase him down. Can't really keep up with the AoE damage. He's just getting all too low, so instead they're going to go for the Nyx Assassin with the Will-O-Wisp hold, and they bring him down. Hunting for more is 11. He pops the Urn Charges here to try and heal himself up a little bit. Get the Shackles on the OD. Can they actually kill off the OD? It's going to be first the Oracle, and now they're going to look to chase into the Shrine here. They need to be careful. They drop the Serpent Wards, but force staffing away is Iceberg, and no one's actually going to farm up these Serpent Wards.
That's great for him.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost the Razor at the start of the fight, and they still were stronger than Ukraine, which again points out what we were saying about, like, Ukraine just doesn't have the kind of heroes to fight right now. That being said, we haven't had the disastrous engagement, like the 5-man wipe into a tower that we had last game. So they are managed to keep the net worth very even, and if they get the next round of items, Ukraine's really going to take over the game.
Yeah. And I think right now the big thing is making sure if you're keen, you just take good, smart fights. They are getting initiated on once again, though, as their decrypt does help Cuck out a little bit, but on the backlines there's going to be the Razor, copping a Sandy's Eclipse. He keeps himself alive with a defensive Yule Scepter as well. He's going to drop back down in a second, gets blown up. The AM, though, he pays for it with his life. Old 11 gets that kill, one Slayer as well. False Promise, I don't believe, is going to save him, as Dark wants to go chase the Nyx Assassin. Has a Shrine to play around with to give himself some more mana. Not sure he's going to use it. They do end up finishing off that Oracle after the False Promise, and Nyx Assassin, he's got a Vendetta up his sleeve. Doesn't really have an escape here. The Carapace.
I like how Dart can't do anything to a Nyx Assassin, especially since he doesn't have mana. Yeah. So he's just running with him.
Give that vision. Give the vision for the heroes who can do things, and that's the Shackles and the Life Drain to finish him off. So, decent fight for King Gaming, but not like the team wipe in the tower you mentioned. But they kill AM. That's the big thing.
For sure. That being said, OD is... If you can get BKB, if he gets BKB before, I don't want to say Rax, but let's say tier 3. If Keen Gaming don't have a tier 3 by the time that OD gets BKB, I think Ukraine is actually going to win the game at that point.
Well, he's going straight into it, so theoretically should have it at a pretty decent rate. But we'll see a group up around top. I think King Gaming are feeling the pressure to play a little bit faster here. Once again, trying to defend this tower as the Nyx Assassin. There's a Pugna. He's going to walk in. Carapace the Netherblast here sets up. Doesn't get the Impale because of the Will-O-Wisp. Great defensive play from King Gaming. They're going to look to punish Nyx. Force Staff is not going to save his life there. So it's a kill into a tower. It did cost him a couple ultimates, but the Serpent Wards for a tower you don't mind. The Will-O-Wisp being on cooldown. Also not the worst case scenario.
Sioma got the deny on the tower.
Ah, nice.
As an Oracle.
Bit of gold being blocked away, but if they lose heroes because of it, you're not going to feel good about it. The False Promise onto the Leshrac. Slayer's going to throw away his own life, hoping just to save this Leshrac. If they got any damage when he pops out, doesn't look like it. He should still survive. Yeah, he's back to full. As he turns around with an Atos into Split Earth. Razor may be the one overextending a little bit here. OD doesn't have the Sandy's Eclipse, or he may be able to drop down the Razor there, and Razor's still holding his ground and fighting. The Nyx has just come back and will instantly die again. Razor tanking
Oh,
tower
Chicken,
shot.
stop this!
Oh my gosh, they're just diving in for these kills. Leshrac really wants this Razor, won't be able to find the kill. AM blinks in. Has he got a mana void? He won't do any damage because he's full mana, and believe no one has to be careful himself. They've lost more on the backlines. OD goes down. Dark pays for that one, but I don't think no one's got the... He's TP'd in on the AM, but he doesn't have much health or mana. Most importantly, he doesn't have mana to use his ultimate, which is what he really needs if he wants to get some kills here. And King Gaming are kind of picking them apart one by one. They're not done. They'll get another. That's like 5 kills in a row. They killed the Nyx twice. If they kill no one as well, it's a disaster. 11 doesn't have the mana, I believe, and doesn't have any backup, so I think he's going to let the AM go, but he's going to chase him all the way back. That's a big creep wave, but Nyx Assassin is here, so the siege creep is going to be the only thing doing damage to the tower.
Well, I guess you kind of had your disastrous team fight.
Yeah.
That one was pretty bad.
5 kills in a tier 1, and then also some damage on other towers, like that tier 2 mid and the tier 3 bottom took a bit of damage.
Old Chicken is not afraid to just run in.
He's playing like he's got all kinds of tanky items. He's got Yules, but that's it. Yules, Wand, Ogre Axe. Like, there's no hood, there's no whatever,
drums or anything like that. Any like smaller stat item.
He's not that. He's the 3rd hero in terms of net worth on his team. He's not the tanky frontliner that like Night Stalker is, but he's playing like it, and it worked great. So, well. I would say, though, you mentioned OD with his BKB timing. I think Keen's BKB timings are pretty scary as well. Like, Razor, Night Stalker having BKBs, OD suddenly isn't too much of a factor in a team fight.
That's true.
Where is your damage into BKBs? It just doesn't exist.
Good defensive wards.
Gets the follow-up stun here, Night Stalker. Just going to run away from this one, and with it being nighttime, should be just fine. I guess the thing you can tell yourself if you're Crane is that this has all happened during nighttime. This past 4 minutes where there was that terrible fight. It was a nighttime fight, but it's still nighttime and it's still not over here. They dropped the Will-O-Wisp here. They need to bring that one down. Instead, they're just going to blink out, leave the Oracle perhaps to his own devices with the false promise. He should still die here. No one's in all sorts of trouble. He's very low, ticking down to the urn. Is he going to survive this one? It looks like he'll be just fine. No chance for Slayer. He pops. As AM will barely get out of there. Does have the Battle Fury up. Not the worst of timings, as Bounty Runes will spawn, and AM should get at least one of the 2 ones up top, probably both, if he feels confident.
It was a good play, because like the moment they show on the Night Stalker, it means that King Gaming should just run to that side of the map, take a fight, and secure the Bounty Runes. Unfortunately, they just aren't getting quite enough catch to get the really big kills, like the OD and the AM. They always kind of keep slipping through their fingers.
I imagine they're still okay taking a 2-2 now, but it is daytime. Serpent Ward's not up for quite a while. So they're playing aggressive here with that. They feel just a Siege Creep and Nether Blast is enough, and they're saying, how do you guys fight into us? You don't have any ability for AM to get into the fight except to clean up, and they're going to go in on the Nyx Assassin. They pop the Night Stalker ultimate to get that silence out of the Nyx. He did get a Carapace because Night Stalker went a little bit too far away, so it does look like they're just going for this tier 3 tower, and that was perhaps the important time. You mentioned tier 3 tower before the OD gets BKB, and they've done just that. AM unable to come to this fight, as King Gaming are not done pressuring the base. They want to go for this Rax as well. They want to perhaps take a fight while the Night Stalker ultimate is still online, but it's going to be daytime fairly soon, so they've got to get as much out of it as possible. The Mana Void breaks the Shadow Shaman, as well as gets a few other heroes fairly low, but this BKB Night Stalker on the front lanes, Old 11, can't be dealt with, but it does now strike daytime as Aloha Dance goes down on the Nyx Assassin. Can Night Stalker get out of this one? He dodges the Split Earth. Off the mark is General, and despite how low they are, they're sticking around. The buyback on Nyx, they get the range Rex, which I think you're quite happy with, just because you know that melee Rex is going to heal up, and they weren't going to get it anyways, and buyback was forced. That was with it hitting daytime.
Dude, someday when I grow up, I want to be as manly as Old Chicken. Holy crap, dude. This guy, like, the OD ultimate went down, and he dropped to like 100 HP, and he still stuck it out with his team.
And he still has those same items. Ogre Club, Yules. He hasn't finished BKB, hasn't bought anything since, just feeling manly.
He's a ride or die kind of guy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, that puts King Gaming, I think, in a pretty good position. This AM can continue to farm and split push and will accelerate, but damage has been done with the tier 3 tower and range Rex being claimed, and Does look like they may go back down the mid lane again, hoping to finish off the melee racks. I think they just know this. AM, he's got Yasha, Battle Fury, no Manta style. He just doesn't really feel like a strong force right now. And the second BKB, the BKB of the Razor, is coming out on the Courier. So there's going to be double BKB with Night Stalkers coming back online. Pugna Ward trying to be focused here. Leshrac going for on the side. The decrypt is there, and they're going to get a Hex into Shackles. Is there anything to cancel this? There's absolutely nothing. General in all sorts of trouble. Force-stuffing it is the OD with the BKB, but he's been ward trapped. What a great surround coming in from the Shadow Shaman. That completely ruined Iceberg's life. That's his BKB being used and wasted. Coddle gets caught on the backlines by the General Leshrac, which is a nice kill for him considering he was so low, but now they're going to be forced to retreat. Buyback coming into play from the Coddle as well, perhaps just to defend top, or maybe he just wants to rejoin his team, but that is enough to get the melee racks. And they're going down bottom as well. There's just no team fight for Ukraine. There's no damage. They can't fight into this, it feels like. Oracle's buying back, but I'm not sure there's much he can do. AM blinks in. They want to burst down the Pugna, but he gets instantly hexed. The Shackle there. That's going to keep Pugna alive. He would have died to a Mana Void here. There still potentially is one. Can he find a good target for it? Holding strong is the BKBs of the Razor, and AM just can't go into this fight. Pugna is so incredibly low. One Mana Void will finish him off. He's going to blink forward. He should have it. Gets the kill finally. But that just comes too late. Pugna's going to instantly buy back. He wants to just end this game, or at least get that second lane of racks here. They're going to finish off, like, beyond godlike streak on old 11. He's the one who keeps manning up, and it's this Nyx Assassin with, like, his 10th death of the game, it feels like, continuing to just run in and struggle to start off fights, as is often the case when you're a Nyx Assassin. King Gaming, they're smelling victory. They're smelling themselves a Grand Finals berth here.
Okay, I love the urgency that King Gaming is playing this game with. I was going to say that when they started heading down mid to finish off the Rex, even though they didn't have nighttime and stuff. Like, I love that, but I do feel like they're pushing their luck a little bit. Like, that last fight, they got kind of lucky. The Mana Void didn't hit the Pugna and their surrounding heroes.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, there's Roshan available and stuff. Like, I like it. I love the fact that they're playing to win, and they took that one lane of Rax.
That's crazy they're ignoring Roche.
Yeah.
And it's working for now. Like,
yeah, it is.
Kaka was so clutch with that insta-hex on AM. Otherwise, they just lose 2, probably 3, 4 heroes there. And another high ground siege being attempted. Is this too much? Night Stalker doesn't have ultimate. They're doing this during the day cap.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane. It's daytime. Guys, Night Stalker, apparently not just a Night Stalker. They're going to hold their ground here with the Serpent Wards that they're fighting on. The Will-O-Wisp as well being placed, but does get taken up. But with the BKBs, there's just no answer to BKBs, and I think that's why they feel so strong about forcing the issue, is because they understand that Ukraine does not fight BKBs, and they get a second lane of racks with it. So even if they lose a hero or two, and they're not building this huge gold lead, but they're building a huge strategic advantage. 4 racks is up, 6k gold lead, pretty small considering they're up 4 racks, but they know they are so close to winning this game now. They can fall back, now they take Bounty Runes, now they take Roshan, and then they've got 100% control of this game.
Yeah, mid lane and bottom lane constantly being pushed in by super creeps now means that Roshan, they always have an advantage to be able to take that. Yeah, that was awesome, man. Like that mid push, and then I do kind of agree once they were able to reset to go back in for the bottom lane push, but boy, that I think they're really pushing the envelope there when they went from mid to bottom. And they didn't have, like, BKB was on cooldown. Yeah. The nighttime had worn out. The Night Stalker's ultimate.
Are they even going to go Roche?
I don't think they are, honestly. I think they're just going to keep, like, cruising through.
Sure. I guess they don't have a Roche taking lineup. They'd have to commit Serpent Wards, which is like a 2-minute cooldown. And they're just like, well, we don't want to have to wait 2 minutes for Serpent Wards. We want everything for the push. Let's just go through everything at the high ground. This time it is nighttime. So this Night Stalker on the front lines is going to be an even bigger monster to deal with. He's 11-1 right now. Absolutely unstoppable performance from coming in from old 11.
Old 11, what do you care about this ward?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you care about that ward? I thought you guys were just ending the game.
Apparently cares a little
Let's
bit.
Go.
So hard to go in with this Nether Ward, making it impossible for the OD to really fight. He has got the BKB, but last time he just got ward trapped. And those Serpent Wards can be used to bring him down. And they're just going to... If they get Mega Creeps, there is no comeback. Not at this early on in the game. Going in. Threatening 11. He just pops a BKB, perhaps a little bit too early, but he knows he can just create the space for his team who are not diving with him. They're focusing the objectives. I like this play from King Gaming. From 11, zoning the heroes out. From the rest of the team, just focusing the racks. And the Serpent Ward should be able to finish off the Mega Creeps here. They need to get in this one. Ukraine trying to hold, but with the BKBs, there's just nothing they can do. False Promise even coming on the Antimate to try and help him fight, but he's full health. He finally gets a Mana Void out, but it's not the best of targets. Kaka had plenty of mana to play around, and that is just looking like all over as they GG out. 25-minute game and a 27-minute game. Keen Gaming, they ain't wasting time.
Dude, I love Keen Gaming now. I have never been happier to